Good afternoon, YouTube. It's been a while since I've done a video. I believe it's been about 6 months, and I apologize for being late on putting up a video. But I do want to do this video now that everything's calmed down between new jobs and moving and everything else. This is a little project that I did a while back, and I've been testing it out to see how it works. And I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna share this over the internet. So if anybody who knows anybody that's into welding or can adapt to use this, you're more than welcome to know. This is basically a project box that I took a laptop fan and I rigged it up so that way it will go in. It'll set, the fan will set right here on the inside of the helmet, and it'll hook on the side of your helmet. And you basically, what it does is it takes cool air from the top and pushes it down towards the lens and towards the face. In the summertime, this works great to help push some cool air over your face, because when you're in your welding helmet, you're breathing, and then you get the excess heat from whatever you're welding. You may not be close, you may be far away, but it's still, it's a combination of your body heat plus whatever you're welding plus environmental factors and just odds and ends things. It just builds up, and a lot of welders that I've known, heat stroke, heat stress, passing out, just being sick from it, all these factors come into play, and it's not, this just basically helps them. So to put it in a nutshell. So this is a laptop fan. I believe I tore this out of a Toshiba, I believe. And this little project box I got for about $4 to $5. And on the inside, if you'll give me a second, I'm gonna pause this. Well, no, I'm not gonna pause this yet. These little red things that you see right here, these are little plastic pieces that come off of wire cleaner for MIG. They basically have a little felt piece that comes in there, and it just cleans the wire as it's feeding through, so that way it don't dirty up the liner. Usually people throw these away whenever they get dirty, because it's really, you just get another one out of they come in a package of like 10 or so. You just grab another one, you slap it on, and you go with it. So these get thrown away. So if you know anybody that works in a MIG shop or a welding supply store, you can pick up these little wire cleaners pretty easy. The most expensive thing I would have to say was these switches. These switches were $5 a pop. I did 2 banks, so that way, and they're inside there's 2 9-volt batteries, and then I have a resistor, and that cuts it down to 5 volts. I was running straight 9, but after doing some research, I figured out that by running 9 volts, because this fan usually normally runs off of 5 volts, it would burn it up. And laptop fans come a dime a dozen, you know, especially if you know somebody who knows somebody that repairs computers for a living. I mean, they have gobs and gobs and gobs of them. But at the time, I wanted to see how long a normal one would last if somebody didn't have this option. It's still running, believe it or not. The only problem that I'm finding is that after a while, the batteries, 9-volt batteries, get worn out. See, this bank is good. If I remember right, I think this one went dead. Yeah, this one is completely dead. Who doesn't have a lot of money? And as you know, 9-volt batteries are not cheap unless you go to a you know, like Dollar Tree or something. You buy those crappy Sunfire batteries, but they don't last you very long at all. I am trying to work out a way to use a rechargeable pack for cell phones, so that way I don't have to worry about the problem with cutting it down from 5. Basically, I'll have a big battery and it does it for me. If you'll give me a second, I'll pause this and I'll remove the last 2 screws, so that way you can get a look on the inside. Hold on one second. Now, as I said, this has 4 9-volt batteries in the inside. The way that they're in parallel, not in series, if I remember right. So basically, they're just one massive 9-volt battery, and it helps slow the draining down. And these are the resistors. Here's the color code. I don't know much about electronics in terms of resistors and capacitors. I'm still learning all that stuff. It's still a hobby of mine, so I couldn't tell you what they were. I know that it was like $2 for 5 or 6 of them. They were really inexpensive. Like I said, the most expensive thing was the switches. The project box was $4. And then this cable, this come off an Xbox 360 controller. I had a friend of mine who had a dog who basically chewed it up, so I just cut it off, threw it in a box, and grabbed a new longer USB cord and basically just wired it in and went with it. So I was digging through there and found that and put that on, so that way it helped me wire in series. The batteries I have in it are Energizer. They did last me. I did notice that they did last me a lot longer. And you can go to any electronics hobby store. I would, like I said, I've always heard this, and I recommend this to anybody. Support your local electronic shops. Try not to go to Fry's or Radio Shack, if Radio Shack even exists nowadays. I haven't seen one in a long time. But try to go to your smaller electronic shops. They're more knowledgeable of what they can do to help you. And plus you're just supporting them and not the big box guys. But if you have to, go. But make sure that you get the best deal. Let's see here. The little 9-volt pieces, these right here, these cost me about 50 cents. So altogether $1, and then let's say 8 and 12. Probably no more than $15 for this whole thing. So that way you have an idea of how much it'll cost. It'll probably cost you anywhere from $15 at the most. It should not cost you more than $30. Could not see it being any more than $30 unless you just straight out buy everything. Then that'll get a little bit more expensive. But in the long run, it helps you stay cooler longer. And in the wintertime, you're thinking this is only a summer thing. This is actually a winter thing too. With it being cold, your breath will actually fog up the lens on the inside, and it makes it harder to see. And it becomes a very irritating situation when you're trying to weld and you're in a tight spot or in confined spaces, and you're trying to weld and you just can't do it for very long because your breath will actually fog up the lens, and then you have to stop. You have to wipe up all the water and off the lens, and it put your helmet back on and go again. So with this, it actually helps keep the moisture off. If you'll give me a second, I'll put this all back together and show you how it looks on the helmet. Alright, here it is on the helmet. Give me a second. Here it is on top of the helmet. Like I said, these little clips that come from the wire cleaner, they actually do a very good job keeping it clean. And as you noticed, also it's actually facing down towards the lens itself. This is an auto darkening. This does work for regular welding helmets that have the glass or polycarbonate fixed lens, as they quote unquote call them. So I mean, it'll work for just about any type of helmet. You may have to put some, you may have to modify the design to fit your helmet, because all helmets are different in shape, size, and form. I will tell you that this does add a extra amount of weight to one side of your helmet, so you're gonna have to get used to that. On this helmet right here, I had to actually cut, there was a piece right here, I actually had to cut that off because it was sticking out just far enough that every time I put down my hood, it was actually scraping my ear. And then after about 5 or 10 times of lifting up my helmet, it finally pissed me off to the point that I just cut it off and basically said to hell with it, I wasn't going to do it anymore. But all in all, all in all, it's very functional. It's very unique. I have yet seen anybody or any other company produce something like this. There is a company called I'm trying to think of, is it Cool Max or Cool Air or something down that lines? I know 3M makes a product for their speed glass helmets. I do have a speed glass. but for something that can work can be adapted for any helmet, I haven't seen very much at all. But like I said, with the 4 9-volts, they do last. I wouldn't put it at 40 hours of maximum running. I'd probably put it around 30 or so, off and on. Basically, when you start, you flick it on, and when you stop, you flick it off. I actually was thinking about adding a light here too, especially being in confined spaces and trying to see where you're going. I think that would be a little bit of a little extra for this, but given the fact that how the 9-volts are arranged in there, I just don't think that I'll have any room. I will continue to research a rechargeable pack to fit inside here, so that way I can just hook it up to any other mini USB charger and able to do that. Anyway, thanks. Any questions or comments or anything like that, please feel free to post down below in the comments section. I'll try to get to you. I'll try to answer any questions. But like I said, if you know anybody who's a welder and who welds outside or in a shop or any other place, and now's in summertime, especially here in Texas, it's easy 105, 106 heat index. So this is just a little something that helps you get by through the day. Anyway, thanks. Y'all have a good day. God bless.